Welcome back to Crunch Time, and it's been a while, but we're gonna be talking about everything that has happened in the last 2 weeks since I've been gone, and there's been a lot. So I left on the 6th, so everything since then has just been pre-recorded content, and let's get into it. So first thing to talk about, Bam beat the shit out of Tyler Herro. So yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. I have if you don't know, give him a punch. Tyler Herro, small guy. Bam, big guy. Bam, punch. If it was real punch, Tyler Herro, sleep. Tyler Herro did not sleep, so obviously Bam held back a little bit. But let's see what Tyler Herro said. Okay, so here are the screenshots of what Tyler Herro said. So Tyler Herro starts by saying, "It's a motherfucker making 60 million, but they worried about me and what I do." And Tyler Herro knows he's talking to a Heat fan, not a Tyler Herro fan. The Heat fan replies, this is from the Heat fan's point of view, so the ones on the right are going to be the Heat fan, and one on the left is going to be Tyler. Bama guy, please stop. Tyler goes, why are Heat fans so worried about me and what I do? But I'm not the best player on the team, right? Bam do his job, top 5 defender, 20 and 10. You the score first guy. I need 25 and 10 out to you. Outa. You should get paid 60 million to be a top 2 defender on some nights. I'm just wondering, since we talking. I think it's because he performed in those playoff runs. Buddy, if I'm healthy, they can't see me. Word to my mother, if I'm healthy, I'm the one who needs help. Who did Cleveland prioritize taking away in the playoffs? Who did Boston prioritize taking away when Jimmy got hurt when we was the AC? When I'm healthy, I need help, not the other guy. Bam. Word to my kids. Come on now, let's call a spade a spade. Now, Tyler. Yes, they are going to prioritize taking you out because you are the main scorer. Contrary to popular belief, just because you're the leading scorer on a team does not make you the best player. In most cases, it does, I will say that. However, when you have a guy who is a great scorer, well, Bam's not a great scorer, but a well above average scorer, an all-star type scorer with top 5 level defense. You are not better than him at basketball. You are better than him at scoring. You are not better than him at the team sport of basketball. And Tyler is saying he's being focused on, yeah, because you are the creator. Bam is not nearly as good a creator as you are. Congrats, you're better scorer than Bam. I don't think anyone's arguing that. I do not understand that you're the taking away you does more than taking away Bam, because Bam's scoring is added on to his game versus your scoring is your game. That's like on defense when they're trying to take Bam out of actions, so they switch Bam onto a worse offensive player so that their better offensive player can switch on to someone like you, who is bad at defense. They're taking Bam out of the picture because he is better than you at defense, like you're better than him at scoring. Unfortunately for you, you're not a top 5 scorer, Bam is a top 5 defender, especially for his size and his paint and perimeter level contrast. He's probably not a top 5 rim protector, and probably not a top 5 perimeter defender, but the combination of that makes him top 5. He actually probably is a top 5 rim protector, but yeah. So Tyler, that's why that is why you were getting taken away, because you're a better scorer than he is. Are you this fucking oblivious? Let's call that a spade. I don't even know what that shit means, but yeah. Oh, sorry. This was this part before that. So he was the best player last finals. I didn't say any names. I'm just saying, should an elite defender be making 60 million a year? Answer that. Okay, Tyler. Let's if it's true, let's see this. Let's see. Bam. 49, 53, 57. Oh, 60. 60 in his last year. Oh, okay. So let's see if what did you say about okay, an elite defender. Let's see how many of these are elite defenders. No, no, no. Okay. Are you talking about Mobley? You talking about Kawhi? Oh, I see. You're talking about AD and Giannis, right? So you're either talking about Bam, Mobley, Kawhi, AD, or Giannis. I think we're going to be talking about the player on your team taken away from your salary because he's getting paid more now. Okay, so you are naming names. If the shoe fits, it fits. Bro dropped 83. Okay, so why are fans so worried about Tyler and what Tyler does? I could post a pic right now and the fans going to go crazy. Now, Tyler, why do fans care about you? Well, as a Warriors fan, Steph Curry is their best player. But when Draymond does some stupid shit and gets suspended, I personally care because he brings value to our team, and he's also a player on my team, and I care. I don't just not care about anyone but Steph Curry. A Knicks fan doesn't just care about Jalen Brunson. So I are you stupid? Did you Tyler Herro education level? Um, Formal education, Wisconsin. What was his major? Yeah, this guy's fucking stupid. All right, never mind. He is stupid. Blah blah blah. Better in the playoff runs. Didn't say any names. Shoe fits. Bam is showing better finally the Jimmy. You lame as hell. You screenshot now. Say no more, champ. Hating on Bam is lame as hell. Had to know the real hero. It's okay, you lame. You fanned out, like we said from the beginning. Enjoy Milwaukee, brother. We overjoyed you gone, but keep thinking I'm a fan. So, some more context to this is whoa, blew myself up there. Let me slap me back. Thank you. All right, we're back. So, Tyler Herro is a fucking retard. Sorry, that might be a little offensive, but um, yeah. And obviously, we know Bam probably found out about this, saw him in Vegas, and was like, "Hey, bro." And I don't know if Tyler thought that Bam saw it, but Bam obviously said, "Hey, I'm not about that." Gave him a little warning. I almost want to say, told him to keep his mouth shut. Um, Tyler Herro did post on his story a graph of like the 10 worst mid-range shooters last year. Bam was on there. Now there were 10 players, so it's not like he specifically called out Bam, but Bam was on there. So obviously Tyler Herro and Bam got a little bit of beef going on, and that's not going to be resolved anytime soon because I think Tyler Herro is a child and he won't talk to Bam like a man. Actually, when do Milwaukee and nope, we don't know because we'll get into that. I was gonna look up when's Milwaukee versus Miami. Well, we don't fucking know because LeBron is holding up the schedule. So I left on the 6th. It's currently the 21st. So that is 15 days. Mind you, free agency had already been going on for a week. So it has now been 22 days since free agency has started. Let's see the exact time what LeBron said he's leaving the Lakers. When did LeBron say he's leaving the Lakers? June 30th, 20, 21 days ago. He said, I'm leaving LA. LeBron, you know where you're going. You can't possibly be contemplating this. And look, the Jaylen Brown trade, I understand waiting up, seeing what happens there, because Philly's now a real option. I don't know if Philly was an option before that for you. I don't think Miami's an option because Miami needs things that aren't LeBron. Miami needs a point of attack defender. Well, no, they don't do that. They don't need that actually. They need a creator and jump shooter. LeBron is neither of those for himself. He can create for others, sure, but at his age, he's not gonna really create for himself all that much. Not what Miami needs. So Miami's not really on the list. So the other options are Cleveland, San Antonio, Golden State, and Philly. Personally, if I was LeBron and I want to go win a championship, I'm going to Philly. However, I'm sure Draymond is pitching his stuff because Draymond's also not on a team right now. And I have a high belief that Draymond's going to go wherever the hell LeBron goes. So if LeBron doesn't go to Golden State, I think Draymond is leaving. So Golden State's kind of fucked if LeBron doesn't come. But that's story for another day. So he's just being a diva and trying to milk it and get all the attention he can for some reason. You're LeBron James, you got plenty of attention. So I'm not really sure why we're acting like you're some bum out on the streets that hasn't done anything in years and getting your first 15 minutes of fame. Like, dude, pick your fucking team. It's not that hard. Like, if you want to make a big spectacle about it and make money, sure, dude, do that. Fucking, if you want to promote your podcast, because your podcast is just around 1 million subscribers, you're like, I want my podcast to be to 5 mil before I get in it, before anyone, or before I make my decision. I'm gonna make my decision on the podcast at 5 mil, right? Guarantee you within maybe 2 hours, 4 million people will subscribe to your podcast. So you could just announce that. It's okay. So yeah, you're kind of just, I don't understand what you're doing. You're holding up literally the whole schedule because if this is truly your last season, Adam and Silver wants to make sure you play your last Christmas game. He wants to make sure the rivalry week is good. He wants to do, but in the TV deals. But dude, it's almost August and they haven't even started the schedule, dude. So please, LeBron, just stop being a fucking diva and an attention whore and just do something. All right. Next bit of news. I mentioned in my first episode that I think Kawhi Leonard won't be traded until the aspiration stuff is handled. A few days later, he gets traded to the Raptors. Or so we thought. So Kawhi, the trade is being held up. So I was right. Apparently the Raptors were like, hey, if his contract is going to be voided, we don't want to go through with the trade. So the NBA is launching an investigation into the Kawhi Leonard trade. Or not the trade, but his contract. And not only are they looking at aspirations, they're looking deeper into the contract at other incentives to see if anything else seems a little bit fishy. So that's kind of crazy because that really fucks up the Raptors. I was kind of hyped to see that team. So yeah, you guys won't see a power ranking video until that um, is all decided because yeah, Kawhi might not be playing for Toronto next season, and if he does, if his contract does get voided, will he just sign with Toronto? But Toronto doesn't have money, so they'll have to reroute Ingram somewhere, probably attach a pick. And now, like, it's probably a very similar trade, but now Kawhi has a bigger choice of where he would want to go. So it's a little bit concerning. But yeah, uh, in just some quick news, Matisse Thybulle signed with the Lakers on a minimum, and so did Zaire Williams. So the Lakers are making some moves to get some bodies, some defense in there. Um, Wemby Wemby got his rookie extension, which great for him, well deserved. And he took a slight pay cut, probably taking notes from Jalen Brunson's big pay cut and trying to give some flexibility because Harper and Castle are on their rookie contracts. I'm sure he wants to continue to play with them. So he wants San Antonio to be able to pay them without having to go deep into the second apron. Speaking of the second apron, the Thunder were in it. And the thing that was putting them in there was Lou Dort. And the Thunder opened their brains and they were like, hey, Lou Dort is cool. But you know what else is cooler? 7 second-round picks. So between trading away Isaiah Joe and Wiggins and Lou Dort, because they just traded Lou Dort to the Hawks, they have now acquired 7 total second-round picks. Probably going to just stack those up, try to draft young players, develop them, kind of like they did with AJ Mitchell, because those second round pick salaries are much less than the first round and even the salaries of other players on their team. And when you are paying 3 people max contracts, you gotta kind of fucking yourself. So the full trade is Lou Dort to the Hawks along with Ryan Nembhard from the Mavs, and then Reese Shea to the Mavs, and then a few second round picks to the Thunder. So yeah, I'm happy to see Reese Shea get another shot somewhere else. I personally don't think he's good, but I'd love for him to prove me wrong. I love good basketball, and he's paired up with the 2024 first overall pick as the 2020 no 2025 first overall pick as the 2024 first overall pick. So yeah, the Mavs might have someone going. Maybe he can play more of a six-man role. The Hawks kind of like gave up on him, so I'm hoping he can do something. Uh, Middleton got traded on a sign and trade back to Washington. It was some big ass 16 trade deal, but it was already trades that were covered, like the John Collins shit. So just added into there. So yeah, just a lot of people thought he was going to go to the Heat with Giannis. Didn't end up going there. Interesting. Donovan Mitchell got paid a lot of money. He's going to be making like $70 million in 2 years. So that's kind of crazy. Donovan Mitchell, not a $70 million guy. I'm sorry. Get your bag. And he's making 60, then 65, then 70, then 75. I believe is the breakdown. Um, if they get LeBron, I think it's cool. I think if the Cavs get LeBron, they'll have Harden, LeBron, Mobley, maybe Allen. I would like to see Allen go somewhere, maybe get some low end small forward in return for him with some depth. I think that could be a really good team. However, they're really banking on getting them for these next 2 years. Like that's their window. Really this next year because LeBron's probably going to retire after this year. So yeah, I think that's a lot of money, but it can pay off for sure if they can make a finals. And I know a lot of people have counted the Cavs out, but they were just in the conference finals and they lost to a team that literally dominated every other team. So yeah, and the Cavs could have very easily given the Knicks the biggest run for their money if they win that game one. You don't know what kind of momentum shifts winning the first game on the road does, and maybe it's a tight game two loss, and they win game one, win the next game at home, and blah blah blah. So yeah, it really could be a good team over there in Cleveland. Now I got a list of things here to talk about, and I've skipped over one. So Gary Trent Jr. signed about a 4-year, $64 million deal. Gary Trent Jr. averaged 8 points per game last year on 35% shooting. So yeah, the NBA is investigating Gary Trent Jr.'s contract to see if I don't know what they're really investigating for. Like if he's got the fucking Bucks like front office at gunpoint or something, or if in their last contracts with him he intentionally took less to get paid more this time, which I don't think should be, you know, against the rules. I don't really know what they're talking about, but it's been an investigation for about a week now and hasn't been much to come out of this. So, yeah. All right. Well, anyways, that was the free agency recap, which took 23 minutes. So, yeah, we're going to be getting onto the title of this video now in the top 10 centers in the NBA. So, let's get into it. Woof. Welcome back. So, for our wonderful center position, this position was stacked. I went through all the teams, and I think I wrote down probably about 22 names that I were like, maybe, maybe. And once I really thought about it, there were a few that were some pretty easy cuts. But I'm going to start with my 4 honorable mentions, as always. So here's the thing about center. I value it a lot differently than a lot of other positions, right? With center, I think you have to be either an all-time offensive player or you just have to be the anchor of your defense. If you're not Nikola Jokic offensively and you're not a good defender, I don't know how you could be on this list. Which, well, there's one guy who's pretty high up that's not Jokic, but he's pretty good offensively. So and he can hold his own defensively. But yeah, so speaking of defense, my first honorable mention is going to be Gobert. He had such an amazing playoffs, and I really was considering him for the 10th spot so much, and I honestly almost wanted to have him a little higher, but I was like, I I couldn't do it. It's a projection list, and I don't project him to fall off crazy. He's crazy physical shape. He's not really looked like he's lost his step, but I just have some of these guys like I think are can be better, and this position is so stacked. Like I couldn't do it. If he's definitely top 10 worthy, so that's what these honorable mentions are for. The guys who just missed the cut. Someone who probably isn't quite there yet in skill, but I could see taking that leap is Klingon, Donovan Klingon. Um, Especially with the offensive talent of Ja and Dame there, along with Drew Holiday's. He's not slouch offensively either, and we all know his defense. And having Denny there, Tamani Kamara, he can really kind of just focus on staying in the rim and blocking those shots. And I really think he'd do a great job. Well, we know he can. He's Donovan Klingon. We know what he is. But I think he could make that giant leap next year and become, a top 7 center, maybe like best case scenario. And I really don't think that's like crazy out of the realm. And really, my 9 and 10 spot are just me projecting as well. So I just projected differently. My next time I mention, I got Zubats. I'm not a big Zubats guy. I think his career year at 30 was a little bit because he wasn't really all that before that, and he wouldn't be a guy even considered for this list 2 3 years ago. So I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's really just he was in a good situation. I think with Halbert, his numbers will look good. Um, I don't have any doubt of that at all. But I personally just don't think he's going to be a top 10 center. And even though his numbers might make it look like that, I don't think he has the talent to be so. And next we got Alex Sarr. I think he was very good. And I could definitely see him taking a leap. It's just there's so much like stuff to go around, like Trey, DeMonsta, Davis, all those people need the ball, and then you got people like Keyshawn George, Bud Carrington, and I don't think his numbers are going to be all that fantastic, and I don't think I can have someone on here that's might be averaging like 12, 13 points per game because there's just so much to go around. So yeah, that's my view on it. But at our number 10 spot, we have Walker Kessler. So with Walker, um, this is really all projection. Obviously, I don't expect him to shoot 75% from three this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the low mid 30s. And I think at his size and at his defensive ability, like he's a 2.5 block a game guy. I don't think it's all that crazy at all to be like, oh, he could, you know, with shooting 32% next to Luca and averaging 13 points per game and 12 rebounds and 3 blocks. Like that's top 10 center worthy for sure. And being able to, he's a big guy, he can set screens. And I have no reason to think he shouldn't be on this list. I think he could be as high as like 6. And I think he's just amazing. I just really hope the injuries don't stop him because that would really suck. I big fan of Walker Kessler, and I'm happy to see what he does in LA. Next, we got Shingun, the number 9. Uh, I hate Şengün, but I can't deny he's talented and he deserves to be a top 10 center because he is. But I hate how he plays and I hate watching him, and he is horrible to watch. But he is talented and he gets the job done. If I look monotone and sad, that's because I fucking am, because I hate talking about this guy and I really want to move on, but I need to say a little bit more. Um, he's a center. He shoots 50% at the rim. That's not good. That's not good. Um, he can't shoot threes. He can't do anything really all that well at all. And he's a good passer for his size, I guess, if you want to give him that. Uh, Good rebounder, I guess. Even though he only had 9 rebounds a game last year, I think he definitely had the opportunity for more with Steven Adams out. But being a 10.5 game rebounder guy before, can't really be like you're a bad rebounder. So yeah. Speaking of bad rebounders, we might be having the worst rebounding center of all time at our next um, spot at number 8. But he's also an amazing defensive center, and like I said, defense is very valuable to me. And he has a little bit of a 3-point shot. So yeah, Jaren Jackson Jr., although he doesn't grab shit for boards, totality last year he averaged 6. That was his highest since his DPOI season in 2023, where he grabbed 7, which was his highest. Aside from his DPOI season last year, he had his career high in rebounds per game last year. So maybe there's something there, and maybe with a more serious Jazz team around him. I mean, he played 3 games for the Jazz last year, so maybe they'll teach him how to rebound. I don't know why he can't rebound. It's not that fucking hard. You're 6'11", jump, grab the ball. It's not like you're like uncoordinated, dude. You're defensive player of the year. You averaged 3 blocks a game in 2023. Like I don't understand what your problem is here. Like it genuinely pisses me off how you can't rebound. It's not like you're 6'8" or anything, dude. You're 6'11". Like fucking grab the ball. Whatever. Um, Jaren's at the number 8 spot. He's amazing defensively, good offensive player. I think any team benefits from having him. And yeah. Okay, so number 7, I might be hating a little bit here, but I also think the fact that he's on this list is me not hating. I have Jaren Duren. He was All NBA third team last year, which by that metric should put him at third, fourth best center. However, obviously he had a horrible playoffs, and I personally don't think it was all his fault. The Pistons as a whole, I don't think were a team that was playoff ready, even though they did win 60 games. I didn't see them as a threat one bit, and I was right. They almost lost the 8th seed. That was hampered by injuries. They would have lost to the 8th seed if they weren't hampered by injuries, but whatever. They ended up losing in the next round anyways. Didn't mean anything. And yeah, Duren's interesting because his stock numbers as a whole aren't impressive. It's like 1.5, but actually being able to watch the game and watch like his impact on it, and obviously, what he's not like a 30-minute a game guy, and it's a little bit weird because he probably could be playing 32. He could be Cade's second option, but look, apparently he's fed up with the Pistons and he's fucking out. But apparently he's like, look, dude, trade me. I'm done with you guys, and if he wants to do that, he can do that, and I have no problem with that. I would love to see Duran on another team. Come to Golden State. And yeah, I think Duran is a lot better than he showed in the playoffs, and I have no doubt that if the Pistons make the playoffs next year, he will be better. I think that was awful. What did he do? So obviously he made the big leap last year, but yeah. So in the playoffs, he averaged 10 points per game on 50% from the field, which all in all, as a whole, doesn't look too bad. But when you realize he was a 20-point per game scorer in the regular season, he went from grabbing 20 and 10 to grabbing 10 and 9. Like, it's a big hit. And Cade was pretty dominant in the playoffs, so I'm not going to act like there was a lot to go around, but definitely could have used you. And yeah, so that's why he's at 7 and not any higher. And this one might feel a little bit like a legacy pick, but I really don't think it is. After watching him in the playoffs last year, he was really good. And even though he got swept, I think Joel Embiid is going to be my number 6 guy. So Embiid's interesting because obviously he doesn't fucking play, but with Jaylen Brown there, with Maxey taking a leap last year, I think potentially with LeBron there, his workload is going to be the least it has ever been. He might like be a 20 a game guy, and he'll have to just try a little bit on defense. But the Sixers are going to be an offensive team, and I think if he's set up to play a lot of games, he will definitely be the best there has been. Like, this is the best situation he's been in to play regarding like his, like, excluding his injury history. Obviously, we know he's had some extensive stuff, and he might just be falling apart, and he might just be retiring, and that's fine. But like, he might like just be forced to retire. But I mean, if he can return to half of what he was in like 2023, there's no reason why he can't be a top 6 center in the NBA at all. Speaking of scoring, why don't we talk about the second greatest scorer of all time, Bam Adebayo? All right, so we talked about Bam a lot in this episode, but so I'm gonna keep this one kind of brief. Bam, 20 and 10 guy, top 5 defender, $60 million, worth it. If you're worth $60 million, probably a top 5 center. Take notes, Hero. All right, yeah, that's pretty much it. Uh, Always been really consistent when games played. It's literally played above 64 in all but one season. So I think with Giannis, he'll just be fucking disgusting next year, and I'm really excited to see that duo. We're gonna look at second in DPOI this year, Chet Holmgren at our number 4 spot. So a lot of people might have expected him to be at 3, but I disagree. I think there's one guy that rose over him, and a lot of what people look. You gotta look at the other playoffs. You gotta look at the Suns series and the Lakers series. Chet was a dog in those series. He was fucking amazing, and everyone sees him after the Spurs series and getting fucking mogged by Wemby and being like, oh, he's fucking awful. He's the worst. Oh my god, this dude is awful. Chet is a really good NBA player. He's an amazing defender, and he's a fine scorer. When you have someone who can average 33, and then another guy who can average 25, and then AJ Mitchell who can average 20, and then like when you have all that scoring, you don't need to fucking worry about scoring 20. All right, I'm not worried about Chet scoring. What I'm worried about with Chet is Wemby, because Chet is very tall and very skinny. So when there's someone at his height, he's normally smaller than them. And for some reason, Wemby is taller than Chet. So, he's also smaller than Wemby. Chet is. For some reason, Wemby absolutely hates Chet's guts for no reason. And I don't know if it is for no reason. I think Chet probably did talk a little bit too much shit. And honestly, I'm not a Chet fan. But I also think Wemby just targeting him for no reason is a little bit mean, all right? That's kind of messed up. So Chet just can't do anything versus Wemby, and it's okay. It's one guy you can't do anything against, and it you just gotta deal with that. But Chet can really do anything against everyone else. But Wemby, just put your hands up and hope he misses. Hope that Shea can save you, dude, because you just can't do shit versus Wemby. All right, next we got Cat. So Cat's an interesting one because his stats on the regular season aren't really all that great. He shot the worst he has from three in fucking forever. I might have. Is that the worst he shot from three? So in a fully healthy season where he plays 50 plus games, that's the worst he shot from three since 2017. So yeah, it wasn't pretty for Cat in the regular season. And then right about 2 weeks before the playoffs, goes in a he gets interviewed and he says, I still don't really know what my role is on this team. Apparently, it was to play fucking point guard because in the playoffs, he just fucking got triple doubles. He was the hub. He was facilitating the whole offense. He was like, all right, I'm out here. Jalen, you go score. OG, you go score. OG, you want to be Kawhi Leonard tonight and tomorrow and yesterday and the day after that too? All right, go be Kawhi Leonard. Hey, Mikhail, you want to shoot 70% on everything for the entire playoff run? Okay, you go do that. So, yeah, Cat kind of just turned into uh, we use baby Jokic a lot. I feel like if we use baby any NBA player, it's baby Jokic the most with, looking at Shingun, it's a bonus. Right? We're always trying to find that next guy that, oh, he's a big man and he can pass the ball. He's baby Jokic. No, he was genuinely baby Jokic with what he was doing, and I can't like I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I knew Cat had that in him because he was a point guard in high school before he had his wrist spurt. But like, dude, the Timberwolves never used him like that. His career high in assists per game was 4.8 in the playoffs. Oh yeah, it was 4.9, but still. I mean, in the playoffs before that, his highest assist per game was 2.6. So they clearly had him doing something. And in the Tibbs offense, it was 1.3 the year before. So it was very much a different style of offense. And his points were like so good. He was averaging 16 and he was efficient. He shot 46% from three the whole playoffs, 55% from the field, 90. He shot fucking 55, 46, 90 in the playoffs while averaging 11 rebounds and 5 assists. Like, dude, he was insane. The only gripe, well, the gripes we have with Cat, though, unfortunately, are not awesome defender, fouls way too much. Fortunately for Cat, that doesn't matter when you're that good offensively, and you got OG and Mikhail and Josh Hart and Jose Alvarado to all play defense around you, similar to Brunson. So yeah, I can't really knock him for winning a championship. So I think three is a perfect spot for Karl-Anthony Towns. At number two, this one really wasn't as hard for me as I thought. I put Wemby here. I know, look, Wemby's offense is better than Jokic's defense, and they're just about the same in terms of offense and defense, respectfully. Jokic's offense is just as amazing as Wemby's defense. However, we are in an offensive league, and I don't think Jokic can just not have the throne until it's really taken from him. And I don't really know what I need to see it taken from him because Wemby did just make the finals. If Wemby won the finals, would he be one? Fuck yeah, he would. And the Spurs almost won. Like they were winning in every single game for fucking 30 minutes. So it's not like they got blown out and smacked and he got dominated. No, he was doing great, but there's just something about it, and I think he just needs a little bit more time. And I want to I want to keep it with Jokic as long as I can because I know this is supposed to be a projection, but realistically, Wemby will probably take it next year, and he probably won't give it back for a long time. So let's keep it with Jokic as again. And I don't need to elaborate on Wemby. You know who Wemby is. You know who Jokic is too. Jokic, the three-time MVP, the one-time champion, the guy who might win another championship and MVP at any point in time. Jamal Murray's fucking Batman. It's so Jokic is my number one. Wemby's my number two. They're very interchangeable. I see them basically as a 1A, 1B in terms of center. I think it's the hardest, who's the best at this in the entire league. But yeah, I mean, Jokic averaged a fucking triple double. Dude, Jokic averaged 28, 13, and 11. Bro, that's some fucking my career shit. You know what he did the year before that? 30, 13, and 10. You know what he did the year before that? 26, 13, and 9. Let me tell you what he did the year before that: 25, 12, and 10. So, yeah, I'm sorry if Jokic is my number one because he averages a triple double like fucking 2017 Westbrook. Yeah. Well, that is my top 10 centers list. I know it's probably got some good debates in it and a lot of controversy, but I hope it's not that controversial. And if it is, I really don't give a shit. So say what you want. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode, which will probably be later this week.